Hey guys, welcome back to the Industrial Revolution. So we're talking about the Industrial Revolution, and I want to talk to you about how Britain led the way. So we have to talk about timing. All of this, the Industrial Revolution is happening at more or less the exact same time that all the other revolutions we talked about. Do you remember at the very beginning of the American Revolution, and I talked to you a little bit about Britain being really wealthy. How did Britain become this world power? How did Britain make money? Well, a lot of it had to do with Britain being an island. And so they had all these ports where ships could leave to take things all over the world. Now it looks more like the sun, but still, that's Britain. Well, Britain was really rich. That's really all you need to know. Britain had a lot of money. And Britain had all these rich people with all this money, but nothing to spend it on. Britain also had lots of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are people that have really great ideas for a new business. New businesses. But an entrepreneur doesn't necessarily have money. Just because they have this really fantastic idea for a business that would work really well, if you don't have any money to start your business, then what good is it? Rich people have money, and that money that they use to help businesses is called capital. Capital is specifically money used to invest in a business. Money that you have in your pocket is not capital. Money that your parents have sitting in the bank is not capital. Capital is money used to invest in a business. And at this time in Britain, there were lots of rich people with capital to spend. So they helped out entrepreneurs who started new businesses that helped make Britain wealthy. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about the textile industry. The textile industry, just in case you don't know what textiles are, because I used to really struggle with that word when I was in school. Textile just means fabric. That's all it is. Textile is fabric. So we're talking about the fabric industry. In the 1600s, British people went to India. British went to India seeking spices, and they saw something else that they really liked a lot, and that was cotton fabric. I know it sounds a little silly to you because whatever you're wearing right now is probably made out of cotton. I know this sweater is cotton, but back then in the 1600s, this was a new thing. British people went to India and they were, whoa, how did you make those clothes? They made those clothes out of cotton, which is a plant. Let me show you, just in case you don't know what cotton looks like. Cotton, oops, sorry. I should have had this pulled up, but I didn't. Cotton plant images. Cotton comes from this. It's a plant. So you pick the cotton off the seed and you have to make it into thread, and then you use the thread to make clothes. So the people from Britain sailed all the way down here around Africa, up to India, and discovered cotton. Then they took some of that cotton all the way over here, through the ocean, through ships, all the way over here to the Americas, where they had also picked up slaves while they were in Africa. Okay, so let me go back over here. They got cotton, then they came over here and they got slaves. They took their slaves and their cotton over here to the Americas, and they made the slaves grow cotton for them. Then it went back on ships to Great Britain up here, and they used the cotton to make clothes. Big, long trips all the way around the world. But the way it used to work was they had this thing called the putting out system. But it's also, I always learned it as called a cottage industry. If you hear the putting out system or the cottage industry, it both means what I'm about to tell you. The government or someone, the business that had all of this cotton would give a little bit of cotton to each poor household in a village. And the poor people would pick the cotton off the seed. And it hurts, I've done it before. Have you ever been walking, like maybe gone for a hike, and some kind of real sticky thing from a bush gets stuck to you, and it hurts and it might scratch your skin a little bit? That's what a cotton seed is like. So all this cotton is around this harsh thing that hurts your fingers. And it takes a long time to pull it off. But they were saving time. It was smart, right? Give like a basket of cotton to this house, and a basket of cotton to this house, and a basket of cotton to this house, and they all pull the cotton off, and they weave it into, or they make it into thread. And then the person goes and collects the thread, and they take the thread to other houses, and other houses weave the cotton into cloth. And then they take it to other houses, and somebody turns the cloth into clothes we can wear. All a really good idea. Except that one day, someone made a machine called the flying shuttle. And the flying shuttle weaved the individual pieces of thread into one piece of fabric really fast. But now we have this machine that will do something really quickly, but it made it to where they needed more cotton. Well, they needed more, they needed to make the thread faster. So let's see, this weaves into fabric. Well, now they can take the thread they've got and they can make it into fabric really fast. Now they need more thread and they need it quicker. So in 1764, a machine called the spinning jenny. The spinning jenny. I have no idea why it's called that, but it's called the spinning jenny. The spinning jenny was made, and the spinning jenny takes the loose cotton, and turns it into thread. Turns it into thread, really quickly. Really, really quickly. Okay, so first, there was a machine that took the thread and turned it into fabric really fast. But now they needed more thread. So somebody invented a machine that took your bundle of loose cotton and turned it into thread faster. Well, now they need more cotton. But people are individually, painstakingly, with their fingers, tearing the cotton off the seed. Now we've got a really important one. Along comes a man named Eli Whitney. Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin. This is a very, very important invention. The cotton gin. The cotton gin takes the cotton off the seed fast. It's a machine that you can pour a whole bunch of cotton into, and it takes the cotton off the seed. Now we're talking everything from, imagine if you had one thing of cotton is about this big and about as big as my fist. Inside it is a seed. And a person had to one by one just pull the little bits of cotton off. And it took a while. And it took a long time to get a whole basket of cotton. And then somebody had to, with their hands, painstakingly take that cotton and turn it into thread. And then somebody had to, by hand, take the threads and sew them together to make them into a fabric so that then someone could make a dress. But now we have a machine that tears the cotton off the seed, a machine that turns the cotton into thread, and a machine that turns the thread into fabric. It's all happening really, really quick and fast. It's amazing. Then these machines were too big to fit into somebody's house. So they started just putting them in sheds out in the back, like out in the backyard. Somebody would build a shed for this machine. And soon these sheds with machines in them, one shed with just like 2 or 3 machines in it, was producing more textiles, more cotton fabric, more textiles than an entire village could make. It was amazing. So that's one quick lesson in cotton textiles and the Industrial Revolution and how it revolutionized the way textiles were made. There was also a transportation revolution. So now we have all these textiles, and it wasn't only textiles that this was happening in. There were other things too. There were all these new products, but there wasn't any quick way to move them. So people started building canals. A canal is like a road with water. They would literally dig a ditch that went from maybe one river to another river, or a lake to a lake, or the ocean to a lake, or whatever. Wherever there were big bodies of water on both sides, they would dig a canal so that boats could get through. And then they would charge people money to send their boat down their canal. Entrepreneurs would dig these canals. Rich people would give them capital, and then everybody makes money. People also made turnpikes. A turnpike is a road that you have to pay money to use. They probably exist here in Kazakhstan. I don't know, I've only lived here a month. But if you have to pay money to use a road, that's a turnpike. Now, there were no cars back then. We're talking about horses or even people walking down the road, but it would be quick. It would be a quick way to get from one place to another. Then we had the invention of the steam engine. The steam engine is an engine powered by steam. And once that steam engine came about, wow, the Industrial Revolution really took off. All kinds of machines were invented, and they were working faster than any human could ever do. And then somebody had the amazing idea of a locomotive. That's a train. The train was powered by a steam engine. Oh, we're almost finished. In 1830 was the first I have a hard time speaking and writing at the same time. The first main train line was between Manchester, oh man, I wrote it down somewhere. Where did I put it? Oh, here we are. Manchester, that's an M, Manchester and Liverpool, England in 1830. But by 1870, they were all over. There were trains all over Europe, all over England, all over the United States. Trains were a big hit. And it was all because of the invention of the steam engine during the Industrial Revolution. So there was this whole kind of chain reaction thing. When there were more products, they were cheaper, because that just makes kind of sense, right? If you have one, I don't know, of something, if you have one pen and your friend wants to buy that pen from you, if you have one pen, but it's your pen, but your friend really wants that pen, you can charge a lot of money for it, right? But what if you have 300 pens? What are you going to do with 300 pens? You don't need 300 pens. You want to sell those pens, and you can sell them for cheaper. So more products means cheaper products. And with cheaper products, it means more people can buy them. You don't have to be rich anymore to buy something. More people can buy them. And when people can buy more things, they want more. When you buy stuff, you always want to buy more stuff, right? You go to the mall and you buy something, you always look over and you want to buy something else too, right? You're never happy with just buying your one thing. I know you because I know me, and we're never happy with just one thing. The more you have, the more you want. And it started this cycle of more inventions happening, more factories making more products, and more people buying and wanting more, and it exploded. And there were a whole bunch of economic changes and a whole bunch of social changes due to this, which we will talk about in section 3. Thank you for joining me.